Hey everybody, Larry Lawton here. I got a good video for you today. I'm actually going to review the top 10 worst prisons in the world. Now, I'm doing this video because of me doing the video with the man who was eaten alive by bedbugs right here in Georgia, the state of Georgia, Fulton County Jail. Now, since I did that video, I wanted to do this video on the world's 10. Now, this is some pretty bad stuff, but I think it's time for me to review stuff like this. Not to make light or not to make anything worse or bad, but people need to see stuff like this because this is what we're doing to human beings in today's world. Before I get started, please check me out on YouTube member programs, Patreon member programs, our Discord. Check our Discord out. It's Larry Lawton server. Check that out. Please check out my book, Gangster Redemption. Gangster Redemption is in the description of every single video, and it's only $19.95, and I will sign it for you if you ask. That's all you gotta do. Check our cigars out. Yes, the Crooked Diamond Cigar, and it's at thecrookedddiamondcigar.com. Use promo code LOYALTY15 to get 15% off, which on the premium cigars, that's actually a lot. So, let's jump right into this video. This video is pretty disturbing. When I saw this video and I looked at this because I'm on this hunt for bad prisons, this is really disturbing stuff, and we're gonna count them down with the video, and I'm gonna review some of these, or comment on some of these, and I think it's gonna be a pretty good video. All right, let's get right to it.
With unspeakable horror that would make your stomach turn. And in this video, I'm going to show you 10 of the worst. So take a deep breath because things are about to get very ugly. Number 10.
This is gonna get ugly, as he says, 10 of the worst. And when the death penalty is better than these prisons, which I do agree. And I don't know how, but it's weird that the human being is able to survive so much and sometimes even thrive, which is crazy.
Dolphin prison, Russia. Ask any Russian you know, and they'll tell you that life in any Russian prison is incredibly tough. But this high-security Black Dolphin prison redefines that quality. Located...
Black Dolphin prison in Russia. This stuff is pretty wild. Now, we all know Russia, and now, it's funny because this is number 10, mind you, and we're gonna keep going.
Is the fate of every inmate, because only inmates with life sentences are sent to Black Dolphin. The prison houses about 700 inmates, who together have a murder count of about 3,500.
That's wild. 3,500 bodies with 7 people, which is 5 bodies per person. Crazy. Cannibals. Talk about wild, crazy. Now, they're talking about a 50 square foot cell. Well, I lived in an 80 square foot cell. In fact, they have cells in the United States that's less than 50 square feet. They have a 6 by 8 foot cell, which is 48 square feet. Pretty wild. And they have those here, right here in the US. Now, this part is a little bit different.
Steel doors, and these cells are under 24-hour surveillance, and guards make their rounds every 50.
Now, of course, when I think of a cell being under 24-hour surveillance, you know, as sick as I'm going to say, they must watch these guys jacking off, doing whatever the hell they're doing in their cells. This is talk about you guys zero privacy, obviously, but I mean, I never ever thought I had privacy anyway in prison.
15 minutes. The prisoners hardly ever leave their cells.
Bent over at the waist and blindfolded so they can't.
But when they do, they're blindfolded and made to walk bent at the waist. This way, they never have a sense.
That is pretty wild, and I did not know that, and I think we're all gonna know that now. They actually are bent over at a 90-degree angle when they are walked around outside the cell, if and when they are outside the cell, and they're blindfolded. So they're totally disorientated. There's no way to kind of figure out your senses. You'd be surprised what humans can do, but this is a pretty good tactic. Nobody's ever escaped, and the only way anybody ever got out of this prison is death. And that's how they have to go, because they're life sentences, and there's 700 of them.
Have a sense of their surroundings. There is no prison yard and no cafeteria, as inmates are forced to eat only meals of soup and bread in their dingy...
No yard, no cafeteria. The prisoners are just forced to eat slop and soup. This is number 10, so this is gonna get wild.
Al de Ciudad, Barrios, El Salvador. Now, what could be worse than hell? I'm glad you asked. Allow me to introduce you to Al de Ciudad.
El Ciudad Barrios in El Salvador. El Salvador is known. There was something that just came out about they had a prison now with 20,000. 20,000. I'm not sure if this is the one, but it looks it.
The most dangerous prison in all of El Salvador. The reason it is so dangerous is because it houses two of the world's most notorious gangs.
Two of the world's most notorious gangs. Yes, MS-13 and the 18 gang. I did not know about them.
Sector 2.
Death often comes without warning if an inmate is not a gang member. And that's why from 2004...
As you can see, this prison, check it out. 2004 to 2015. Only gang members in this prison.
Not enough. And most of the time, they are the least of your concern because the living conditions are so bad and the prison...
Man, look how packed this is, people. This is crazy. Who wants to work there?
The prison's reputation for lawlessness and violence is so real that prison guards are terrified of entering the prison.
The prison guards are terrified of entering the prison, so look. The inmates run the prison. It's like the inmates run the asylum. That's what it is.
And the result? The entire prison system is run by the gang members. Number 8, Petak Island Prison, Russia. It is called...
Here we go, Petak Island, Russia. Russia so far, number 10 and number 8. Russia, great reputation here. This is the Alcatraz of Russia.
Prison houses 193 prisoners, all on life sentences. Unsurprisingly, the inmates are usually the worst of the worst.
You know, I saw that and I have to show you that. This guy looked like he had a sound bar on his thing. Now, I always look at these things and say, what doesn't go? The 193 prisoners, but look at this, stop. That looks like a sound bar on a TV. I don't know, that doesn't look that bad. I never even had a TV. Not sure if they do, but these are life sentence guys, never getting out, and they're gonna die in these prisons. If that's all they get, good for them, and I don't know what they would get on it. Federal system in the United States has 0 TVs in any prison, no matter what level.
Every day. Escape is impossible because inmates are not even allowed out of their cell for any reason, and the 1 hour they are allowed out of lockdown is spent standing in a cage that they can barely pace in. However, the cherry on the...
That is just like the cells that the United States has. And obviously, the ADAX in Colorado is like this. It's locked down 24/7, meaning you get 1 hour of rec a day in a little cage just like that, which is pretty disgusting.
This terrible reality, what makes this prison worse than Black Dolphin is the lack of basic sanitation facilities. There are no proper toilets and no proper bathrooms. Inmates do their business in a steel bucket and they find sleep on thin...
That is what I find wild. No bathrooms. They have to defecate, shit, and piss in a steel bucket. The mattresses are the same mattresses that we get in the United States. They say a thin little piece of mattress, same they get here. And they look, I mean, decently from what you're seeing. Obviously, they're only going to show the best of the best.
Petak Island prison to that of a zoo in winter. And that is because the island is surrounded by freezing waters that contribute to the breaking the spirit of their inmates. Number 7, Kwang Prison, Bangkok, Thailand. Kwang Prison is one of the...
Now this prison, Kwang Prison in Thailand. You know, when I hear about these kind of prisons, I sure don't want to go to their country.
Worst prisons on earth for a very specific reason. Many of its inmates were once tourists.
Can you believe that? Once these people were tourists. A lot of these prisoners are tourists. If I gotta look on the State Department website, the United States has, to see if this is like an off-limits place. Because I didn't hear about that, but this is pretty bad.
Have to cramp up in the same space with prisoners on death row, and the offenses that could boot you into Kwang are often very trivial. Reading the wrong book, staying in groups of 5, or even eating a sandwich in public could get you a one-way ticket to Kwang.
Did you hear that? Reading a wrong book, being in a group of over 5 out in public, or even eating a sandwich out in public. I can't understand. If there's any Americans in this prison, I'd love to know. Now, obviously, I don't know if it's trumped up charges. I don't know what it's going to be. But if these guys got tourists, how do they? They sure don't have a tourist business, I'll tell you that, because this guy right here is not going to Thailand.
Kwang is beyond harsh for inmates. In the first 3 months of their sentence, new inmates are required to wear iron chains. To make matters worse, the food they're served is often infested with maggots, and drinking water is an absolute luxury. But it doesn't end there.
That food infected with maggots. You know, I ate some crap, but I didn't eat that. I know I've ate spit from guards. Or who knows what they put underneath it. I don't know. But this is just... But you know what? I remember being hungry and just taking spit out of the potatoes and still eating. So you'll do what you got to do when it comes to eating.
Don't think you can just avoid Bangkok by being a good citizen or tourist. A couple of years ago, a British man was thrown into jail when a Thai gang jumped him, and even though he lost an eye and suffered injuries, he still had to do time in Bangkok for fighting back. Number 6. Gitarama Central Prison, Rwanda.
Did you hear that? A tourist fought back from getting jumped, lost his eye. Because he fought back, he went to Bangkok prison. That, you know, it's almost unbelievable. But I'm sure they did their research. It's blowing me away.
There's no prison that has it as bad as Gitarama Central Prison in Rwanda.
Gitarama Central Prison.
Today, it's holding 8,000.
A prison built for that many, and it holds 8,000 in conditions that are just disgusting. Of course, as we're going lower, we're getting worse.
Unsurprisingly, this has led to more, what's the word again? Let's say complex issues. Many prisoners have outright died from disease and suffocation, and if you were to mistakenly injure your foot, gangrene would set in and you would either have to cut it yourself, risk death, or watch it fall from your body. But
can you imagine getting gangrene and having your foot fall off your body? This kind of stuff has got me a little bit disturbed. I mean, the more I watching, and I watched it once, but it's getting me more disgusting. It's just, this can't be real. Wow. I mean, since this bedbug prison in the United States, things have got me a little bit fucked up, I'll be honest.
Yourself, risk death, or watch it fall from your body. But it gets worse than that. There have been several cases of inmates feasting on each other out of hunger, and the cannibalism could even be worse than I just stated.
Did you hear that? You have to have heard that. They're so hungry, they're resorting to cannibalism. Did you hear that? I thought I've heard it all, but and here's really what's fucked up. This is not number one. Wow.
Because there is little to no documentation on the activities that happen behind these prison bars, and prison guards have been brainwashed to believe
amazing what another human being will do to somebody.
That the prisoners in their charge are subhuman. Last year, 2,000 people died in Rwandan prisons. An overwhelming majority of those deaths...
2,000 people have died in Rwanda, in 13 Rwanda prisons in the last year. And out of those, most of them come from that one prison. Crazy.
Number 5. Kamiti Maximum Security Prison. By its British colonizers, the prison was modeled after an old-style colonial system to house offenders during a state of emergency declared in October 1952. Today, it still has its original gallows, and it has gotten even more hellish than it was.
Got gallows. I mean, what is going on in the world, man?
Favorite dumping ground for political dissidents, much of the population is uneducated. This, in turn, has led to a telephone fraud ring within the prison system where scores of prisoners defraud innocent Kenyan citizens of their money outside the prison walls. Kamiti Maximum Security Prison is a
telephone fraud ring in the prison system. Only fucking in 2023.
Number 4. Gldani Prison, Georgia. They say the prison is better. They say the violence has...
A guard open this up.
Other guards. The
Listen
video
to this.
is too graphic to show here, but I can tell you what they did and had been doing for decades to prisoners. Every night, random inmates were routinely sodomized with broom handles, and one of such was featured in the videos. They were often beaten, drowned, their bones
Inmates were beaten and drowned, sodomized with a broom handle, and then their bones were just left there. And this is broken. Number 4. This is number 4.
Number 3, Mendoza Prison, Argentina. The top 19 most dangerous convicts in all of Argentina are held in Pavilion 5 of Mendoza Prison. That section is so dangerous that no guard has the balls to enter that section, and they often leave...
You hear that? That section of the prison Pavilion 5. No guard has the balls to walk in there. No guard has the balls to walk in that part. Because they'll get killed. How fucked? Who's got control of this prison?
Surprisingly, the prison has a serious overcrowding problem. 1,600 inmates share a facility that was designed for only 600. There are no beds, and prisoners are forced to sleep on the floor, where they are often subjected to random, intense, and frequent torture. But it doesn't end there. Toilets are
Tortured. No toilets. Defecate in a plastic bag. And sewer coming up from the pipes into the hallways. So, all right, let's keep it going, because America's looking better and better.
sewer of garbage, human waste, and slime running through the corridors. And conditions have become so unbearable that there are reports that prisoners literally sewed their mouths shut in protest.
How's that? It was so bad the prisoners sewed their mouths shut in protest. Think of that. You think they give a fuck? They get left to die.
Number 2, Diyarbaker prison, Turkey. Diyarbaker prison was at the center of one of the most abusive regimes in Turkey in the 1980s and 90s. Thousands of Kurdish men and women suffered horrific.
In the 80s, 90s, this is crazy. This is the second worst.
Where the sludges of society are being housed, children are also locked up.
With children there!
Inmates are subjected to ranges from physical torture to psychological assault.
You know, the psychological torture I can handle. Beaten, violated, forced to eat excrement, and the testicles shocked.
The same inmates are forced to salute the prison director's dog, participate in random mock executions that might or might not ever happen, and forced to bathe in the sewers. To show you just how desperate the situation is, prisoners routinely go on dry fast, protesting prison conditions. And more often than not,
they die. They go on a hunger strike and they die.
Later on, an inmate set his cell on fire before hanging himself in resistance.
Think of that. An inmate put his cell on fire, then hung himself in protest. Wow. I'd try to take out a guard, but obviously, I don't know if they think like that.
1. Camp 22, North Korea. Camp
Number
22
1
is not just one.
North Korea. The little rocket man, Kim Jong-un, Mr. Dictator. Let's see how fucked up this prison is.
Prison facility. It is a series of identity prison camps containing up to 200,000 prisoners and stretched across the length of North Korea.
200,000 prisoners.
Extremely lucky survivors have likened conditions in the camp to the atrocities committed against the Jews during the Holocaust. Starvation is not a novelty. It is every prisoner's reality. Inmates are fed a sludge of cornmeal and
cornmeal. They're fed like cattle. That's fucking cattle. Listen to this.
To supplement their diet with rats and insects.
Eating rats and insects
became such an essential part of their diet that rodents literally went extinct.
Listen
if you know anything about the way rats reproduce, you'll know that is...
They had to eat so many rats that the rodents went extinct. Think of that. You ever know how a fucking rat multiplies? And there's no more rats?
Is impressive, to say the least. On average, 20 to 25% of the prison population die every year. When inmates aren't dying of malnutrition,
20 to 25% of the prison population dies every year. Holy shit. I couldn't handle this. I know I couldn't. My devious mind would think about how I could kill somebody that's in control of this place. And everything I'm watching, it just reminds me of how fucked up societies can be when another human being treats another human being like this. Who treats animals or anything else like this? It's crazy.
The prison guards make their lives into a satirical piece of horror. Everyone is fair game to the prison guards. Little girls born in the camp are often fed to dogs to train them to be...
See that? Little girls who are born in the camp are literally fed to dogs to train the dogs. This is fucked up, man. I can't take it. I can't take it anymore.
Train them to be more vicious. Inmates are brutalized as stress relief for the guards, and if they attempt to escape, everyone in their family, even those unaware...
Oh my God. Everybody in their family is tortured if they try to escape. The girl got pregnant, tied to a tree, cut the fetus out, and then shot. And obviously death would be the best thing that can happen to you in this prison. So... I just showed you 10 of the most fucked up places imaginable. I think Fulton County Jail's got to get up there somehow with the filth, the conditions, the bed bugs eating people. You could say the same thing about that prison or jail. But this is this disgusting. It just really gives me a really bad taste of the human beings we have in this world. And I don't care what you do, and I don't care what you did. Nobody deserves this kind of treatment. And you know, as a man who's seen some psychopaths and people who murdered and raped and did the worst of the worst of the worst, I just don't know how another human being could treat anybody like that. You wouldn't treat a dog like that. You wouldn't treat any animal like that. This is just human beings treating human beings in a way that just, it's unfathomable to me. It really is, guys. So I had to show it because I think this channel does open eyes, and I want to keep opening your eyes. Again, we do live in America, or wherever you live in a civilized country. I hope and pray it is nothing like this. You've probably heard tales like I'm talking about, and I'm sad about that to begin with. But if somebody doesn't open people's eyes, then this stuff never stops. Always remember that. With that said, please pass on our videos, like, subscribe, give us the boost we need, and please stay well and stay out of prison, so make good choices. Have a great day, everybody. I'll see you in the next video.